What's going on, people? It's your man, the YB. Once again, big shout out to my Daniel Mori 501 for coming through and boosting up the coin. So, we've got an investigation here regarding Moses Itauma, aka the light skin, the prophet of the light skin, the saviour of the light skin, sent to forgive us, man, of our sins. No doubt about it. Now, this investigation more leans on the kind of sketchy side. Yeah? Because I've been thinking, people say, oh, he's going to blast out Dillian Whyte, and he could blast out Dillian Whyte. But there is two fights in particular where the precedent's been set. If you put your head down, yeah, like that, like a heavy bag, and just weather the storm a little bit. Now, listen, these cats lost 6 rounds. Both of them lost every single round. But as far as durability goes, it's hard to stop a man who ain't there to overtly win. At the same time, strategically for Dillian Whyte, these fights we need to look at now. End of the day, that's what we need to do. So, this is the first one. Itauma versus Konstantin Dovbyshchenko. Yeah? Dovbyshchenko. This cat here. He looked alright. He looked like, imagine Canelo, who's been on the cakes, man. Yeah? Canelo-esque. He comes, I can't play the footage, but we'll walk you through it. Itauma starts off like normal, more or less. Backing up, dude. You can see it here. Backing him up. And then it ain't long. Yeah? It's not really that long. Look, see, obviously Itauma sitting there working. Listen, I like Itauma. He works. I love his work, actually. He's got crisp shots. So far, allegedly, he can punch. I like him. That said, as has been speculated, we don't know how it starts going as the rounds get on, because you've seen it now. Through 2 rounds, the name of the theme is Itauma's having a heavy bag session here. Then we start getting into round 3, and what you'll notice is it's annoying. I can't play the footage, to be fair. But Itauma now, he's much more on the back foot. You can see Itauma now almost close to the rope. This guy's got his hands up and he's walking in, basically. He's landed a few shots, but there's nothing fantastical. Itauma's comfortable on the back foot. You see it here again. Itauma's on the back foot. That's round 3. Round 4, middle of the ring. Itauma here on the back foot against the ropes. Round 4 again. Itauma on the back ropes. Now is he choosing to fight here again? Itauma's close to the ropes. Now round 5 again. You see what I mean? Itauma's backing up now. I can't find the actual frames, but around this point maybe. We're in round 5 now, and you see Itauma both hands down. He's hopping around, almost trying to buy himself time because he's goosed. And this was against a plodding pudding, right? So my advice to Dillian would be, again, Itauma on the ropes. Not on the ropes, but he's boxing at this point. He's having to box. After starting off like he normally does, quite ferocious, he's boxing with a guy who's just plodding onto him. In fact, there's a good one here. See, look, Itauma's in the corner. Where are we? Itauma's in the corner here. Now, I believe, let's have a look at this exchange quick. I'll make it big. Let's see what happens. But the point is, yeah, if this Dovbyshchenko, who's a hard man, there's no doubt about it. Hard man, who's actually never been stopped as well. Hard man, never been stopped. But he's got Itauma on the ropes here. What's he do? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, he just can't really come to win. Itauma's probably super comfortable there as well. Yeah, this guy, Dovbyshchenko, I don't really want to win like that, but you see the point. Now, to be fair to Itauma, this was 2 years ago, he's probably 11 years old or something, but the fact of the matter is, he's puffing. Yeah? And he's been puffing for about 3 rounds at this point against a plodder. So if I'm Dillian, what I'm not doing is coming out, beach of Normandy early on. Even to be fair, look at Dave Allen. Now, listen. Fisher's a 1 out of 10 compared to Itauma. But there's no point Dillian coming out there, and it's just the problem with Dillian. He might he'll get carried away knowing Dillian. He won't be able to help himself. And that's the risk here. Dillian's cute enough to be able to employ this strategy. Go in there. Yeah. Safety first. Head right down on your chin. Hands up. Let him wear himself out. Let him hop around. Let them legs burn out. Hopping in, hopping out. Don't give him nothing. And then start trying to lay it on. As a professional fighter, you can notice, you can see in someone's body language, as this cat here, who wasn't able to execute, but he would have known after a round or two, when Itauma's happy to concede the centre of the ring and isn't punching as much and is doing more flashy things and footwork and whatnot, you know then, okay, now I can start looking to work. Because he's goosed. You see what I mean? Itauma's got both his hands down at this point. Look. I think he starts faffing around. Yeah, look, here it is. This is round 6. Itauma puts both of his arms on the ring. He's like, yeah, I'm chilling. But this is all, I'm knackered. Yeah? Because if he was really chilling, you'd get this guy out of here and work him up and down like a heavy bag. Proper, do him up a serious arm. Right? Middle of the ring, just tear his ass up. So I haven't really seen. I've seen Itauma look good. He can fight so far-ish in the centre of the ring. But he's more of a mid-range fighter. He's not a... I haven't seen him say, alright, you want to stand there with your hands on your head? I'm tearing your ass up right there in the pocket. I haven't seen that from him yet. Yeah? He needs space to work so far. That's what I've seen from him. He needs a space to work and he wants you right on the end of his shots. So Dillian has got to get him in a position where he's fatigued, where Itauma's fatigued enough and Dillian Whyte isn't knocked out enough. Yeah? To be able to work, do what Dillian does at a point like this, when Itauma's legs have stopped, and or he's not as willing to throw, and or he's puffing. Because in cardio, you can be the second coming all you want. If you're goosed, you are goosed. Heart can help you fight when you're tired, but especially as a new age fighter who's a 10-1 favourite, it's a bit like, look at Ben Whittaker in that Liam Cameron fight. A bit underprepared, he thought he could punch and he starts whacking really hard and he started blowing, man. He started blowing like you wouldn't believe. And he wanted out of there, yeah? I'm not saying Itauma's cut from the same cloth, man, but you know what I mean? That's for you, man, to decide. I'm not going to be shocked. Yeah? Dillian just got to get to that. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe Itauma's going to be hopping around, super explosive, super loads of combos in round 7 or 8. But what I know for a fact is, if Dillian comes to Avatera early on, you're just inviting, you're not playing to your strengths. Your strengths are, you're a seasoned 12-round fighter, and this guy is not. Not to mention, even Mike Tyson, who at certain points was a seasoned 12-round fighter, he was renowned. Mike could be really good in the first 6, and then after that, he's kind of just one shot and fall in. Mike wasn't doing a whole bunch of loads of things in the last half of a fight. He'd get knackered, because he's naturally explosive. Same for me with Itauma. Very quick hands. That comes at a cost. You can't be quick forever. Certainly not 40 minutes later or 30 minutes later in a fight. Anyway, that was the first one. He then fought a cat called Nicholas Espindola. Another proper weapon. This guy is a proper weapon, this one here. No neck having. Cholo weapon here. Look at this guy, look. Proper. Now the difference is, this was the next fight. So Itauma goes to points in his first fight with that other guy, Dovbyshchenko. Itauma then fights his Espindola cat. Very durable. The difference is, Espindola, I don't know what changed here. I don't know whether it was Moses Itauma's attitude or the fact Moses Itauma's opponent was happy just to be a heavy bag. Because the difference is here is that, okay, we're 2 rounds in, Itauma's aggressive still, 3 rounds in, basically the whole fight, Itauma's on his arse. It doesn't stop him, but Itauma's on his arse. Now, I put to you, I don't think it's so much, you could argue, well, Itauma went points for the first time in his career, he didn't like it, so he's come out and having more of a go and backing Espindola up. Espindola was happy just to sit on the ropes like a heavy bag. If Espindola had had the gas or the willingness to push forward, that would have given us more of an insight into, having your head down and your hands up, you can wear Itauma out. Itauma didn't look tired in this fight, but he had nothing. You saw the difference in that first fight we showed. In that first fight, the other guy was happy to stand in the middle of the ring with him, and or press Itauma back. This guy just wanted to be on. Look, every frame you look at, literally look, I'm clicking through now, 6-round fight. Every frame you look at, Espindola's on the ropes. He don't want. He wasn't. Had no willingness to come off them, and hence that made Itauma was comfortable, and he looked fresh the whole way through and was teeing off. But even so, even with Itauma teeing off for 6 rounds here, what was my point? Itauma couldn't finish him off. So I'm thinking, if I'm Dillian, I go in there, head down, tight, yeah. Let him hit me. Maybe an odd counter punch here or there. Tight, short counter punch. Not no whoop, bowling for the ashes rubbish. Keep it tight. Keep him honest with it, and let Itauma work. Get a feel for his power. Get a feel for him. Pause, and then go to Pound Town. Take that. Yeah. The return of the old school yardie. That's what you need to do. Because the blueprint's here. Itauma couldn't stop 2 guys. For all the power he got, he couldn't stop them. If you're tight. So the power can't be that. Well, I mean, listen, it's hard to stop someone who's negative, who ain't really trying to win. That is fair to say. But he didn't blow through, the shots didn't, he was hitting this guy to the body all night, and he didn't crack his rib right through, right? So, listen, man, Dillian's another class, but Dillian is also a dog, and he will want to get, if he gets clipped, he'll want to fight, and that's almost he'd have to fight that within himself, I believe. Oh, who knows? Is it possible Dillian exchanges early on and clips him? Alright, but it's not where my money would be, just because of the speed. You need to bring him down to your level, wear onto him. In fact, a good example, in my opinion, would be someone like Jerome Miller, you know. If Dillian gets smoked, I wouldn't mind seeing Jerome Miller. Because Jerome Miller combines, Dillian White isn't really a hands on your head, volume, pressure fighter. He's more of I'd say he's a boxer. Dillian's a boxer brawler, I'd say Dillian is. But Jerome Miller's like these 2 cats, but with more ambition. He's like Espindola. He's like this Constantin cat, but more ambition. And he'll just plug at you, head down. But I think Itauma would box him up like Dubois did, to be fair. That's the problem. Yeah, Itauma would be too quick on it. He'd just turn it into a boxing lesson. He'd turn it into a outside of the ring business. But listen, Itauma's being sold on, I'm knocking you out, right? Is that another way this could go? I haven't really. Most of us have thought about Itauma knocking Dillian. Wow, is it possible though? He could turn it into, if he doesn't get Dillian out of there in 6 rounds, could he just turn it into one of these fights, part 3, where he just wins on points? But that would be showing for me. If Itauma gets tired and then just somehow wins on points, it's not going to have the same carry, because loads of people have beat Dillian on points. Well, in fact, I'm not sure they have, but you get the point. AJ knocked him out like 10 years ago, right? Povetkin's clipped him, so it can be done. When we expect, to be quite frank, I expect it to be done. I don't expect a points win. Anyway, the last point I got to make here is this reference here. I started watching this for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I started watching it, and I've linked this with Itauma and White. This right here, yeah, is David Haye versus Carl Thompson. So for those of you who aren't aware, David Haye at the time, very similar to, this was before he was world champion, very similar to, this is when he was a prospect. Carl Thompson was a former world champion, 41 though, and he took one of the biggest slackings in the first few rounds I've ever seen. Yeah, he looked every bit of 41. But the moral to the story was, Haye goes in there, super fresh, super explosive. Everyone's expecting Haye to knock Thompson out quick. Thompson, I can't even say he weathered the storm, or he did weather the storm, but he didn't look good doing it. Do you see what I mean? I'm going to play the footage, but he didn't look super clean in there. He looked like an old man in there. But he's old school. He weathered the storm, took big shots. We'll play the first round or 2. This kid's worth watching. Alright. I'll make it pretty big. You weathered the storm yet? It's old head.
The questions that have been asked about this contest would be, is it a contest too far for Thompson? Is it a contest too early for David Haye? We are about to find out.
We certainly are. You know, Cole's a notoriously slow starter. He's got to be so careful because, you know, Haye is a notoriously fast starter. Anything can happen.
Haye looking the bigger and the stronger of the two. Good right hand by Haye. And again by Haye. He is a very, very hard puncher, as the former IBF cruiserweight champion Arthur Williams found out in Haye's last contest. That was in May in Reading. He stopped the very impressive Williams, and he's landed with a couple of good shots, and that was a good combination by David Haye. And look at that, there's not a flicker of emotion on the face of Haye as he goes to work. And Carl Thompson is in serious trouble in this opening round. The three judges at ringside may not be needed for this one if David Haye keeps going like this.
This is what we've come to expect from Carl Thompson. He gets punched from pillar to post, round after round. Takes him a few rounds to get going, it really does. But what a cracking, lovely left uppercut from Haye.
Well, Haye really is going to work. This is amazing by David Haye. He started off impressively against Arthur Williams, who was almost 40. He started off even more impressively against a man who is 40. Haye is catching Thompson, and those old legs of his are starting to wobble a little bit. We thought he was long gone against Sebastian Rothman before he came back with the contest-ending punch. Haye will not leave anyone a chance, and Thompson is all over the place in this opening round.
This, again, I have to say what I said earlier, this is what we've come to expect from Carl Thompson. Haye looks incredibly sharp, has the box nice and careful, can't take it for granted.
Good right hand once again by Haye. Well, Thompson has more lives than a cat. He's got the heart of a lion, but Haye's got him again with a left hand. And Haye at this stage can't miss. Good jab by Thompson. He needs to regain his composure. Great footwork by Haye, just eased himself out of a tricky position. But Haye looks menacing and mean and wicked, and he's got Thompson again. Timekeeper started the count, but Terry O'Connor's let him go on. Thompson looking beleaguered. Can Haye end this by the end of the first? Thompson's mouth is open. Great uppercut by David Haye, and a right or left round the corner.
Oh, Thompson's hurt, definitely. His legs are all over the place. He is a notoriously slow starter. He's gone up there.
Terry O'Connor breaks them up. I thought for a second he was going to end this. Just a few seconds remaining. Back comes Thompson with a meaningful punch. Surely he hasn't been bluffing us all the way through this round. I don't think so. Haye nearly got him at the end.
Alright, so you've seen the first round there, and I think the second round went something similar. And ultimately it ends up, somehow, some way, Haye gets goosed. You can be as fresh as you want. You can be the young up-and-coming doodle you want. I'm fit. You can, listen, boxing is a difficult sport. It's not like it's not like 10k running, where you're running more or less at a pretty steady pace, and then everyone knows the last minute or two you're sprinting. It's like you're red hot, and then you have a little bit of rest and red hot again. No one's trying to punch. No one's trying to do soft punches, really, are they? So much. So once you've burnt out that top end energy system, they talk about a second win, but not when Haye was, to be fair to him, he was super ferocious there. He's proper laying it on thick, and I think someone like Haye and Itauma, they got probably similar makeups in how their energy systems come together. Quick hands, quick feet, explosive hands, etc, etc. The parallel is, clearly, if Dillian White can just, Carl Thompson, he's a dog, so I don't know. I'm not sure if Dillian ends up looking like that, I think he gets clipped and is out. Kind of. I don't think he's got the chops to weather it. But if he does have the chops / he can weather it, I think Dillian's more put together than Carl Thompson as well. To be fair, Carl Thompson's gritty, but Dillian at his best, he's more put together than Carl Thompson, I'd say. Carl Thompson to me looks, I'm not a historian, but in this fight at least, he looks quite crude. Yeah, crude but hard. And I'll play the last round, because Haye just gets knackered, man. Haye gets knackered. He has nothing left. He has nothing left at all. And this is about for round 5. He has nothing left. He's hanging.
Right, Carl Thompson, up in your own peril, because I tell you, this guy, he won't lay down. David Haye needs an almighty punch now to swing this back in his favour, but he looks in terrible state.
He's getting caught with right hands. His defence is all over the place. There's nothing coming back from David Haye. And one wonders what sort of mental condition he is in. He always looks in great physical condition. Did he really think he was going to get rid of Carl Thompson in the first couple of rounds? Did he really think that he shouldn't have trained for 12 against a man who could do 46?
Well, this is incredible from Carl Thompson, it really is. Yet again, he's proved himself. Haye's gone!
Oh, he's all over the place. The towels come in from the Haye corner. The towels come in.
That last punch from Haye. Listen, Haye left it. Haye blew his load, man, bottom line. But that is what unexperienced fighters can do. We saw it with Johnny Fisher to a lesser extent the other day with Dave Allen. In the first fight, to some extent, he was popping away. But these guys, Ben Whittaker thought he could punch. Yeah? The other dude, what's his name? Fisher thought he could punch. Itauma, at this point, thinks he can punch. That is where it's dangerous. You think you can punch. You're in there with an old dog. Everyone's blowing smoke up your ass. You can knock him out. You go in there. Itauma's going to be hopping on his feet. Yeah, I'm going to catch him. Doesn't catch him. And then it's time to work. But Dillian Whyte has got to get to the point where he's got to get to around 4+. Ideally 6+. He's got to negotiate to 6. Got to. If you're in there and you get put down and it's going left, that's no good. He's got to. Dillian's got to be smart. And the reason I say this, the reason I always like an underdog as well. I always want to know how the underdog's going to win. Anyone come on here and say, yeah, Moses is going to clap him. That's not fun, is it? It's fun seeing how we can get an underdog to become competitive. And the blueprint happened before. I bet Haye was a 10-1 favourite in this fight. Yeah, against a 41-year-old man. And if Dillian is off the Ozempic, he's lost weight, he's even quicker, who knows? You know what I mean? He could be weaker from the Ozempic, but if he's not, he's just light, this could be good. He's got to be super cute, man. Super cute, super on it. I think Itauma's footwork is actually better than David Haye's, though. David Haye, certainly not in this fight, he wasn't. I think in this fight, he just came out to do arm. But Itauma's going to be... It's a bit like Usyk. Dillian's got super slow feet. I think he's just got to stand there. Dillian's got to stand there poised and almost let Itauma come to him. You don't want to be kind of trying to step to Itauma because Dillian's got super heavy lead foot, or both his feet, but it's like douche. You don't want to douche in and Itauma slide out. And I'd let him come to me, honestly. I'd just post up there. Don't waste nothing. A bit like how, you know, in Bacoli, this ain't a great reference because he's an idiot, but when Bacoli was fighting Gerald Anderson, Bacoli was kind of pressing, but he was pressing, but you wouldn't really so much see Bacoli take that lead foot step out. He'd kind of wait there, just standing there almost, and then Anderson would do something, and Bacoli would be right on him. Something like that, I don't know, it sounds easier than it. The time was very quick. Sounds easier than it will be in reality, just to stand there and let him come on you. Yeah? But listen, I'm actually excited for this fight now. With all the different factors, I guess the downside here will be, never mind Carl Thompson versus David Haye, the downside will be if Dillian looks like Tete, which is not something we've talked about so much. I guess because he's lost weight allegedly, we're kind of running with that. But in reality, the last time we saw him, he looked rocking. So it could be that scrap all this Carl Thompson. It could be he looks like Tete, and if he looks like Tete, if he looks like the Tete fight, he's finished. It's over quick. I don't care how much gas Itauma may or may not have. Yeah, I don't care how green he is. If he comes in there looking at like slovenly, because Dillian did 7 rounds there, and he was hanging after about 2, but we'd assume not. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, like for the bell, 100%. There's no doubt about this. Some people stop it. Bosh.